find something you love that you really, really love to do, and there's a business around it, do that, because you'll have things that happen to you during the process that, like the things that I told you about, or, things for me like meeting, Richie Havens, for those of you who know who Richie Havens was. He's the first artist that played at Woodstock in 1969. And he came in my shop and told me his life story and gave me a guitar lesson. And he was like one of my idols. When I was in high school, I had his albums, and I thought he was like, I never thought I'd ever meet him. And I got to be friends with him before he died. And that was just, that's just one thing.
Did your shop originally was a vintage guitar shop?
Yep.
From the start?
From the start.
So what got you into vintage guitars versus just the run-of-the-market guitars?
Well, when I was in music school, and before that, but I got a part-time job working at a place in New Orleans called Foster's Guitar Shop. And it was a man who was a guitar player who was a real luthier who built guitars, and a bunch of people that worked for him who were really great guitar players and great luthiers, artists in that respect. And I got a job working at his place while I was in music school at Loyola, and I fell in love with it. And that's where I got exposed to the world of vintage guitars. I had vintage guitars before that. I owned them and played them, and I loved them, but it wasn't, but at that time in the world, they weren't really expensive. They were just used guitars. They weren't, quote, vintage. It was a used guitar, and they were a lot cheaper. Now, the prices of them, depending on the guitar, are astronomical in some instances and ridiculous, in my opinion, in some others. But nevertheless, there it is,